you can laugh at. These are very dangerous, drug-addicted inmates who are bullying everyone in sight. They are dangerous, drug-addicted bullies, and they're bullying everybody with threats of lawsuits. So Air Force One that takes them golfing or Michelle on vacation, I think that should be reined in. See, this administration is using the EPA and his other fascist agencies to destroy one industry at a time. They want to take down one industry at a time. Now, you're worried about greenhouse gas emissions. Then why did Air Force One and Air Force Two be used last year? Because Michelle wanted to fly in a different plane as her husband. How about that for a greenhouse gas emission? Michelle and her entourage in Air Force One. Obama on Air Force Two. Why? Why? Tell me why. How about the fleet that Congress uses to jet around the world? How about Nancy Pelosi's use of military jets? Yeah, okay, you get the picture. It's the mother of all shakedowns. It is the largest theft of wealth the world will ever have seen. The science is not clear at all. There's no science here. It's Lysenkoism. It's invented science. East Anglia University manipulated data to reflect global warming when there was no global warming. You understand that? They just changed the hockey stick into a putty ball. The only reason Obama has waged a war on coal is for what reason? To make sure the gangsters in the green business profit from it. The gangsters in the green energy business have profited like you've never seen in your life because they're bullies and thieves. We're going to talk about bullies and thieves when I return right here on the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Wherever you go, you will encounter people who doubt your very existence. Folks who believe that hardworking families with strong values don't exist on the south side of Chicago or in Detroit or in El Paso or in Indian country or in Appalachia. They don't believe you are real.
So she's become one of the chief bullies now in America. Whatever happened to the quiet first lady, the dignified first lady, the first lady who did civic things? How did she suddenly become such a bully? Any other questions? Because I have the answers. We're talking about bullying, and we're talking about the bully pulpit. In this case, it truly is inhabited by bullies. 855-400-7282 is the phone number. We're talking about many topics, mainly bullying. And everyone who gets on the show will get a free copy of my novel, Countdown to Mecca, perfect for Father's Day, which is only, 2 weeks away. And I hope you celebrate fathers because it's all we've got left. Whether you like your father or not, he's your father. He ain't heavy, father, he's my father. Remember that one from Boys Town? He ain't heavy, father, he's my brother. I used to love that one. I never knew what it meant. They'd always touch me, that Boys Town thing. I never knew it. Like the kid was carrying another guy in the home, and he used to say, he ain't heavy, father, he's my brother. That was a beautiful organization, Boys Town. Maybe some of the left-wing vermin now can uncover some crime committed against boys in Boys Town to take away the dream that we had of some decent people on earth. Let's see, they've destroyed the Catholic Church and turned it into a useless organ. What else can they go after now? They've trampled our flag. They've trampled our country. What's left? Tell me what's left. These bullies. I'd like to know when there's going to be a counter-bullying in this country. Man, I'd like to see an army of 10 million counter these bullies. I'd love to see them stand up and scream in their faces. You know, wherever I go, I run into bullies, whether it's a nasty Prius driver on the highway trying to cut me off in the right lane with an Obama-Biden bumper sticker from 2008. Everywhere I turn, there's a bully. This morning, for example, I went to the supermarket with my dog, Teddy. And I'm shopping, not bothering anybody. And I'm checking out. It was just jammed in the supermarket. All of the mothers were getting their coffee and giving their children donuts and coffee before sending them off with their current medication to the government school. And I swear to God, I'm standing on the checkout line. I had a lot of items, like 2 bags worth. And there was a woman behind me, middle-aged, decently dressed, 40 years old. Did you ever get someone who tries to push you through the thing that's just moving with the turn? It's moving like with your stuff on it. She has to put her coffee right. I'm talking an inch away from your stuff, and you're not through unloading your cart. And I look at her and say, excuse me, lady, I'm not finished yet. Could you take your flowers and coffee? I don't want to hurt your flowers and spill your coffee. She says, oh, my, you have nice radishes. I said, okay, fine. She said, my radishes were nice, very nice. All right, so she takes back the flowers and coffee and lets me have the conveyor belt back. Meanwhile, the clerk is ringing and zinging, and I'm moving up to the cash thing. And you know there's a little shelf right next to where you slide your card, where most normal people put their wallet or whatever they took the card out of, where you sign the bill? This woman puts her hot coffee cup on that shelf. I look at her, I said, lady, what's wrong with you? Why are you pushing like this? You know what she said? Nothing. Another drug addict in Marin County. Another Stepford wife. Another drug-addicted Stepford wife in Marin County. There are bullies everywhere, on the low level, on the high level. We're living in a new age. Yesterday I talked about the millennials. Boy, did I get heat for that one. They said, you can't say all millennials are bad. I said, I'm talking as a social commentator. And I still allege that the millennials will turn out to be the worst generation in American history. The beatniks gave birth to the hippies. The hippies gave birth to the yuppies. The yuppies gave birth to the millennials. They're the end line of the beatnik. And the millennials are without conscience. They're like the Khmer Rouge of China, or of, more specifically, like Cambodia. I don't mean they're actually going to throw you into a grave. I don't mean they're going to kill you. But they're like the Khmer Rouge. They seem to have no conscience. They seem to be zombie-like. No care, no feelings. They have no emotions. They seem to have no emotions other than getting what they want. From the me generation to the I generation. Seems that the I generation, the iPhone, came along about the same time. So I'm not very optimistic that this generation is going to save the country, incidentally, going back to that question. I think they'd roll over to anyone who raises their voice to them. They've been raised by bullies in the schools. They're intimidated by everybody and everything. And they have no feelings whatsoever for senior citizens in particular. So if you think that Obamacare is going to come along and save you, and the millennial has a choice between pulling your plug or keeping you alive, get back to me on that one. WABC in New York, line 9. Go ahead, you're on the Savage Nation. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I think Obama has bullied his two appointments to the Supreme Court to leak information about pending decisions to him.
You think that he's getting information from Sotomayor, the most brilliant Latina in the history of the universe? And that other one, the bowling setter, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
In my day, she would have. In my day, the most she could have done was run a pickle store on Rivington Street. I forget her name. What a Supreme Court justice that one is.
I think.
What you think that they're leaking to him?
Yes, because I don't think he would have made those statements the other day if he knew that.
You're talking about him threatening the Supreme Court from while he was in Germany. We have that soundbite, Robert. Let's listen to the bully in chief talking from Germany.
Under well-established statutory interpretation approaches that have been repeatedly employed, not just by liberal Democratic judges, but by conservative judges like some on the current Supreme Court. You interpret a statute based on what the intent and meaning and the overall structure of the statute provides for. And so this should be...
He's telling them how to interpret the law. You hear this? Now he's suddenly on the Supreme Court. He's the Supreme Justice, the bully in chief. He's committing statutory rape by doing this. He's trying to rape the Supreme Court in advance. He's scaring them that he's going to do something to them. My God, what a piece of work this thing is. All right, I get the picture. Most people don't care. The millennials don't even hear what I'm saying. They're listening to, I don't know, they don't listen to talk radio. We hear that talk radio is aimed only at the dying population of old white men. Well, hey, old white men, welcome to the Savage Nation. Let's enjoy the fall together. Are you kidding me? That's the only audience for talk radio? Who do you believe? That's true? How do you explain that I have a 25 share on devices? Who's listening to me on devices? 70-year-olds or 20-year-olds? Who's listening to Michael Savage, the most listened to streaming talk radio show in the United States of America? Who's listening to me, the millennials or the perennials? Who's listening to me? Who do you think's listening to me on iPhones and Androids and things like that nature? The young millennials who know what's going on. The very few who do. The very few who are homeschooled. The very few who are Christian. The very few who understand what patriotism is. The very few who come from a military or a police family. They're the backbone of America, not the drug-addicted left-wing fanatics who've been bullied into submission. That's who I'm talking about. Don't tell me that the only people listening to this radio show are old people. And if it was, so what? You should be ashamed if you're an old person? Suddenly being older is a shame in America? What, it became a thing of pride to be an 18-year-old moron? No, I don't think so. WABC Online, go ahead, you're on the Savage Nation.
Doc, thank you. I actually had talked to you at the end of last year.
All right, what's on your mind? Go ahead.
We're talking about the millennials here. Now, we grew up with the sense from the Depression era that you needed to save, you needed to work, you needed...
Oh, wait, I didn't come through the Depression era. I'm not that old. You're that old?
I know. Our parents passed...
Right, okay, that's true. Our parents always told me about the Depression, how horrible it was. Don't spend more than you make. Make sure you save money. Don't count on the government. That's how I was raised. That's true.
And that's how you raised your kids.
100% right. I made my children work when they were 14 years old. My son used to take a bus to go to work in Wendy's. Would you believe that? And his friends laughed at him. They laughed at him. He used to take a bus into the poorer neighborhoods to work in Wendy's and put a hat on. And I said, look, son, I'm not doing this because I want to punish you. I want you to understand what it is to make $1. And he understood me. I always used to pay him to do yard work. Would you believe that? I showed him value for labor.
And if he wanted something, he'd have to work for it.
But guess what? He did better than all his friends put together by a margin of 20 because he learned what the work ethic is in this country of gimme, gimme, gimme.
Oh, that's really the point of why I was calling, because they've had everything given to them that to a point where they still expect it as nauseum to continue.
Right, and they want more. There's no limit to a person who wants something for free and gets it. They want more and more and more, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. It's never ending. Never ending.
Never ending. So what do we do about it? We have a whole generation sitting here waiting to take more from society, turning on its face. JFK's great statement, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And these millennials are saying, I don't care about my country. All I want to know is what it can do for me.
Well, like with any generation, those kids will go by the waysides, and the one that you speak of, that come from the families that still pass this information on, will be the ones that survive, Mike.
All right, my friend, I'm going to send you Countdown to Mecca for Father's Day. Enjoy it. 855-400-7282. Should I read the sex scene from Countdown to Mecca? Someone said they liked that scene. I don't even know which one he's talking about. I didn't know I wrote a love scene in it. I did this once with my first book on the air, and a lot of women hated me for it. I don't know why. What, love and romance is not allowed in a novel? It wasn't dirty. I'm not a liberal. It was a beautiful scene. I can't find it, though. And then you'll think I'm appealing to your prurient interests. I like that word, prurient. Prurient interests. I never understood that word. There was a better word for it than prurient interests. The whole society is prurient right now. All of a sudden, everywhere you turn, it's filthy. There's nothing clean about the society. I don't know what I want to do right now. I'm fed up with it all. I'm fed up with the society. I feel like starting a revolution. If I was a politician, that's what I would do. If I were running for office, I wouldn't just be a meek, taking it from the media type. I would demand a revolution in the country to save it. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even mince words. I say I want a revolution in the Borders language of Borders language and culture. Period. That's what I stand for. If I'm elected, it's going to be a revolution in this country. The military will be taken out of South Korea and Germany and put on the border with Mexico, with bayonets if necessary. We'll put tanks on the border. English only, especially at the ballot box. Do you know in this sick, twisted city, this corrupt city of San Francisco, the vermin who run it, made it legal for the voter pamphlets to be published in 6 or 8 different languages? Why? That's to make sure that the criminal gang stays in power. They have been put in power by the gangsters. The gangsters have been kept in power by the illegal aliens they have ushered into the city. If you can't read English, you don't vote in my country. If you can't write English, you don't vote in my country. That's language. Do I have to spell it out for you? And I'll tell you what the revolution in culture is. I can make it very simple for you. I can spell it out for you very clearly. This nation was built upon Judeo-Christian values.